Hey, 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 we're back, we're black, we're brown, ambition, 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 ambition. Hey, Mandra, how are you?
Hey, Tiff. I'm doing just fine, even though I'm not going to lie. I dropped off homeboy at daycare today and I came home. It's one of these rainy days and I crawled into bed and I felt so guilty about it. I crawled back into bed for an hour, but I don't know what I needed. I just needed to sleep a little bit longer. So one of them days, but I have been, working nonstop for a couple hours now. I'm lucky to have a break and get to talk to you.
Yeah. So I go to Dubai tomorrow. Whoop, whoop.
Yeah.
So as a result, y'all, you know how it is the day before your vacation. Everyone's like, so just 5 minutes of your time. So
Before you go.
I know. So that's been crazy, but I'm excited about Dubai. I'm going with my sister, Carol. She's the mom of Roro and Mimi that you hear me talk about all the time that live down the street from me. So I'm sure they're going to have a heart attack when they're like, you're leaving again? Because they were like, next time you go on a plane, Mommy, I want to go. So that's not happening.
So proud of her. Dang.
Yes.
Right? Because it was a big deal for her to go to that trip with Vegas.
Yes.
With your sisters, right?
And then we also she came with me to the team trip to New Orleans. So, the kids are sick of her. They're like, girl, this is too much outside.
So she's a deadbeat mom. Is that what's happening?
No, first of all, let me just say, she's probably going to be mad I told this story, but because the kids always want to see pictures when we come back from trips. So we were showing them pictures of us at when we went to go see Usher. And so now we had front row. So at one point, Usher was reaching to the audience. And so Carol reached up and he held her hand for a little bit as he sang. And Roman was like, because, that's her son. He scrolled, he said, I know what that is. I said, what is that? He said, that's romance.
That's
When I say
out of the words of May, babes.
I know. He said, that's
Did he give her the full Issa Rae treatment, though? Did you see that video?
No.
The video of Issa Rae?
I know. So I was like, you a married lady, Issa, now.
I wasn't even that into Usher, but I would have. I don't know what. I'm so awkward. I do not know what I would have done if that had been me. But didn't we all wish it was us?
But yeah, it was just funny. But no. So two things. One of my friends, Denise from high school, who I've not seen in forever, was like, "Oh, we're having a mid-year reunion. It's 25 years, We're just gonna meet up at this restaurant/bar." And I was like, girl, I'm not going. I didn't go to the 20th. I'm not going to the 25th. And she's like, just come. But I ended up going. And I'm really glad that I did. As usual, I was the only chocolate chip. But that's Westfield's for you. But honestly, it was great because I forgot. I'm like, oh, Diane from science class and Anne from math. And honestly, it was really great. And it was crazy to hear them be like, I'm so proud of you, Tiffany. I'm like, wait, you guys follow me? Because Westfield is very white. Yeah, but I was, because I don't, and they were just honestly, everybody was
our chocolate chip.
But they were the truth is I actually had a decent high school experience. I didn't, certainly, there's always stuff in high school, but in general, I enjoyed my high school experience. I wasn't cool, but I wasn't like somebody who didn't have friends. I was someplace in the middle, like the average kid. And honestly, everyone there I remembered fondly. There wasn't anyone, well, there was one girl, Nicole, that I used to be so scared of because Nicole was she was tough. And I used to be like, I don't want Nicole to beat me up. But other than that, but she was so nice when I saw her. I was like, Nicole, I used to be so scared of you. She was like, really? And then everyone was like, Nicole, yes. But it was honestly, it was just a really good time. And I'm just glad I went. Thank you so much, Denise, for dragging me out of the house. But I have exciting news that has a financial spin. So I have been open to purchasing another property for myself to live in. I just think it's time, and, but I just said I was just going to start looking, no real, cause obviously I have a home. It's paid off. There's no rush, so I started to look. And at first I was like, maybe I want to live in, there's some really pretty towns surrounding Newark, like South Orange, Maplewood. They're a little bougier. And Montclair, super bougie. So I went and saw some places, but honestly, a lot of the homes that were in the range that I was initially thinking, like the $700,000 or $800,000 range, were either similar to the house I have now, but not as nice, or nice as the house that I have now, but not as big. And so I was kind of like, well, why would I move to less, And then it was like, well, if you're wanting a more upscale house, because that's what I'm feeling like now. this house is very family. It's like if you were to come, when you come here, Mandi, it's very much like, this is for a family and kids. And that's why Jarrell and I, we designed it with that in mind. And now that that's not happening, I was like, I want to move into the rich auntie phase of my life.
Which is corners, like, I want glass tables, vases.
Right, exactly, right. And so
artwork.
I was like, right, because as it is now, any kid could kids. Next time you come, you have to bring Rio, and I'll have Roman and Amelia be here because this is like the ultimate kid-friendly, but also like adults love it kind of house,
Mm-hmm. Very cozy, so I was like, very comfy.
Very. And so, but for the price range in those towns that I was looking at at least $1 million to up to $1.5 million. But I was open to that. I was like, okay, I'll get a mortgage. I'll put a quarter down or half down or whatever, and I'll still do that. And because I didn't know that I wanted fancy until I saw one property in like Maplewood or South Orange. It was like 1.3 million. And I walked in and I gasped and I realized I want to gasp when I walk in, but it was too big. It was like 6 bedrooms, 4.5 bath. I'm like, for who? And, but it made me realize that that was a level that I wanted. Then recently, my friend Cabral, Mr. Know-It-All, was like, consider a condo. That way you don't have to worry about shoveling. You don't have to worry about, Tiffany, you're traveling a lot more now. So you don't, there's you might have a doorman. And I said, I never thought about that. I'd owned a condo with my first property, but it was like a condo townhouse. So it didn't feel very condo-y, it was, but I started to look. And then yesterday, Mandi, I saw a condo that I fell in love with. I was like, wait, I think I'm putting an offer in today.
I know what that is. That's romance.
Yeah, exactly. And it is a few things that I really love is my house was built in 1919. I love a historic home. And many condos are new builds, but this condo actually was built in the early 1920, I think 1920. So it has very similar features to my home. My house is 2,200 square feet, doesn't include the basement. So maybe it's bigger, but it's a good size house. The condo is 2,800, like luxury. And it's beautiful. And you walk in and you're like, it's giving the Huxtables. It's giving like Charlotte's apartment in Sex and the City. It is so beautiful. And I'm not gonna lie, I was like,
huge floral arrangements because you have the entryway.
It's big, but not so. It's 4 bedrooms, and it includes a separate it's not it doesn't they don't consider it a bedroom because it doesn't have a closet, but it's a separate room that the woman has used as like a mini gym. So it's like 5 rooms, 3 full baths and a half bath. The living room is actually bigger than my living room. My dining room yes, the living room and the dining room is bigger than my current dining room and living room. The woman who owned it, because the condo is the building is 95 years old. It actually was built to compete with the Delaney in New York. I'm not familiar, but I was looking at research, which is some luxurious condo that they built in the 1920s for like the rich and the famous back then. So it was built during then. So like when you walk in, it's like marble and panel. And this is like just the lobby. It has a doorman. He works every day, 6 to 6. So 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. Now the thing is, it's like, and what I love is it's still in my current neighborhood. So I could still do my regular walks. My friends are still here. Carol and the kids, quite honestly, probably would live in the house where I live now because they live down the street. And I'm like, well, you guys can just live here because I'm not selling this house. I love this house. I just like looking for a change. Now, those are like the pros. Another pro is that the person who owned it fully renovated it. So even though it's an older building, all the plumbing and the electrical is new in that unit. It's almost like a double unit in comparison to others. And this was kind of on my secret wish list. It has a huge picture frame window that picture frames the New York City skyline. I'm like, I'm not gonna lie, but that's the pros. The cons are, because it is an older place. One, the association fee is not cheap. So I don't know what's a lot in New York or whatever, but here it's $12.50 a month. Yeah. So it's like you pay that, but it also includes like, all the maintenance, not inside your apartment, but inside, outside every place else. And it also includes your heat and hot water. So I don't have to pay so when the heat comes out, I don't have to worry about that. So I just paid my electric bill basically. And it includes sewage and garbage removal, all that stuff. So I just paid the electric bill as far as utilities and the internet if I want it. So it's $12.50. So that to me is not a deterrent for me. And I'm like, that's fine. The taxes are really reasonable. I'm sharing these numbers because I don't know what's normal for y'all, and I think it's good to hear.
Well, I was going to ask, do you still pay property taxes?
Yes,
with
you
the
do.
condo?
So right now in my house my property taxes, last time I checked, I want to say it was like $8,400 for the year, which is the lowest in Essex County. So I don't know what are yours?
I got to get out of Westchester.
It's just really expensive other places. Okay, because here's I'll give you
12,000 last time I checked.
Yeah, and honestly,
It's
like my
insane,
parents pay
is what it
14.
is.
And I'll say this, that in Montclair, the average is like 20,000. Some people are paying 30,000. So I was like, girl, you gonna move to fancy Montclair or down the street in Newark? So the condo is 7,000, which I was like, okay. So you're looking at
7,000 a month?
No, a year for the property taxes.
Oh, the taxes. Oh, okay.
Yes.
All right,
so
gotcha.
7,000 for the year for property taxes, 1,200 for maintenance. And so I was like, okay. So basically you're looking at because I would plan on purchasing it cash. Cause first thing I did was I hit up Anjali and said, what's best? Because you know me, the cash queen, that's not always best. With interest rates the way they're doing,
they're nuts
that's not always
now. What's it, like 7%?
Girl. So what Anjali did tell me, she said, well, certainly the ideal would be half down, half let's put it into the market. So they're wanting 539. It was on the market for 575 initially, like some months ago. They took it off, put it back on, and now it's 539. Girl, I'm not offering that. Hopefully they don't listen, because I don't think so. But because I'm offering a cash deal of 475, will probably end around 485, 495. That's probably where it'll land, So I'm going to offer that in cash, because it will. Because certainly I can get a mortgage. I asked Anjali, what is best? She said, ideally, I would love to see you put half down, half, we could put half in the market. But if you're wanting to get like the best deal as far as like the overall cost, obviously cash is going to be king and you're more likely to get it at that price range. Now, if they're going to push you for more and you really, really want it, then you can be like, well, it's not cash then. We'll do half down. I'll put half in the market. And so, yeah, because 475 is not, bad. Like literally, I had a friend look at it. She was like, because she lives in Harlem, I believe. She's like, this in Harlem, you're looking at a minimum of $2 million for this apartment in Harlem.
I was just going to say, that seems so reasonable.
I know.
For that
honestly,
condo.
So the reason I'm sharing this with y'all is because there are, as you decide what life is going to look like and the things that you're wanting to support the life that you're wanting to get, it's like, these are huge financial choices as well, because certainly Newark is Newark. It is much better than it's been, but where the condo is, there are other, it's 2 blocks up from my current house, meaning which is very residential, but it's not on a residential street. It's on a street that has other condos and things like that. So there's a noise component that I'm going to have to decide if I want to navigate with, because it's city living. So you're going to hear some city noise, So it's like the building itself is really quiet. Everybody there is like quiet. I asked a bunch of tenants and they loved it. Most people live there for like 20 years, And so that's not the issue, but I'm going to hear more outside noise than I would in my super residential neighborhood where I live now, even though it's only like a 2-block differential, So I was like, okay. So I actually have a call with a friend later on today who lives there to get like a really good indicator of like, by noise, what do you mean? Like every day at quinceañera noise? Yeah. Like Wu-Tang outside your window
they let
noise.
You spend the night for a night just to test it out?
Well, the thing is, you don't really hear the noise except for the summertime because, people be outside.
Yeah.
So like you're not hearing it now. But I told myself, certainly I can move to a South Orange, a Maplewood, a Montclair and pay $15 minimum to upwards of $30,000 annually for taxes. For super, super, super quiet, even if it's a condo. And I can also pay 2 to 3 times the amount for the property, or I can say, because basically I'm weighing the options of what matters to me. Because Anjali and I just came up with like my big magic number of if I wanted to make $250,000 a year just waking up and going to sleep, what do I have to put up? Like, she's like, you don't have to work now necessarily if you didn't want to, and you can maintain your current life. But if, let's just say you were like, you don't want to do anything and you still want to yield 250, then you have some more money to put up, And I said, okay. So, but that was with if I purchased a home for 1.2 million plus. But if I do this, then I can adjust what I have to do as far as work is concerned. And so there's like this ebb and flow. You know what I mean? Like, do you go for the fancier and have like the accoutrement, but not be next to your tribe and your family? Do you stay here in Newark, where there's some Newark things for sure, but you get it at a price that's like, girl, you can pay for that, out of pocket, and you get to be next to family and friends, and it's beautiful. And not that I wouldn't be able to afford this someplace else, but the financial burden is 3 times as much. And so that's kind of like what I'm weighing now. I mean, obviously I'm leaning heavily towards staying here in Newark. But I just wanted to share that because I was like, it's just like, Jarrell passed away November 15th of last year. And I can't believe it's been almost a year. It's so crazy. And it's been almost a year. And now it's like finally I'm out of the fog kind of. And I'm just like, well, what next? And how do I want life to go? And that's why I've been like really asking myself, how do you want life to go? And, Jarrell was like, he mowed the lawn, he shoveled, he did all those things. And without someone there to do that, it's like, well, what does that look like for you, Tiffany? And also safety, like I come in the house, and also nothing's ever happened here, but there's a safety of being like, as the brand grows and I get to be more known, it's nice that the doorman is there and no one's going to follow me into my building, And so 1,000%. I'm just making, these life choices are not just life choices. These are also like financial choices. And I just was talking them out with you guys so you can see like, this is the thought process that I go through. And if you're making your own kind of like life choices, not to forget the finance part of it,
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm excited for you. I know you've been talking about it, and I feel like you've approached it so thoughtfully, and you've given yourself time. Isn't there the adage, like, don't make any big life choices after such a big loss like that, like 6 months or something like that. But you've approached it so thoughtfully. And the thing is, I mean, buying a home at any time is like always such a loaded kind of like anxiety inducing. Is it the right decision? Blah, blah, blah. But I feel like at the end of the day, it's about you make the decision with where you are now, with what you want now, do the best you can to project into the future what you may want. But I also feel like if you decide to change your mind, those properties will still be there. You can still get your, if you want that oceanfront luxury condo on the shore or whatever it is that you want. I feel like, okay, house number 3 then, or 4 at this point.
Yes.
I lost track.
I know.
3, 4.
Well, I'm selling, thankfully, the house that Jarrell and I bought together, the rental property. His twin brother currently lives there. He wanted it so badly. The house has been such a blessing because of the way Jarrell and I purchased it and renovated it. And there's no mortgage there. It's literally, that house means 2 people in his family get a home. Alyssa, because the house belongs to Alyssa and I equally, but I'm giving her my half of the proceeds of the house. So that way, when it's time for her to purchase a home after college, she gets the home that she wants, wherever she wants to live. But then Terrell, my husband, Jarrell's twin, gets that house that he wanted so badly. He was born and raised in Newark and wants to live there. And plus, it's his brother's house. And so it's like this one house gets to provide for 2 people that he loved the most in the world. So it's been such a blessing. He actually just texted me today, was like, I got a closing date of December 6th. So fingers crossed that it all moves forward. And
he's
selling
basically
it to him
purchasing it from you.
Yes, he's going to purchase it directly from me.
Wasn't it through NACA?
So no, honestly, NACA, it was the NACA program. Yeah, he just was having a hard time with the NACA program. So he just decided to go traditionally. He was ready. He had his money saved. He has great credit. And what I committed to him is that my friend is a realtor. So she's like, girl, I'm just going to give you advice, but I'm not going to participate. So you don't have to pay any realtor's fees. You don't need all that. $500, go to this, real estate attorney to get a contract. And that's it. Terrell would take care of his own closing costs and things like that, like, an inspection and things like that. But for you, it's $500 out of pocket, And I was just like, okay, so, but what she said was she did comps for me. And she said that home currently, I think when we first finished, it was worth like $220. We put, I want to say $180 into it, maybe $170. I think we bought it for $10,000 and put like $150 into it. So like,
I didn't realize y'all did such a big reno.
Yeah, well, it was a gut. It was, cats were living in there. It was a gut. And so, we put a lot into it, but we knew right away that house was like, after it was finished, we put 150, 160, 170. It was worth $220 as soon as we were finished with it last year. And so now the house is worth, my realtor friend was like, I did the comps, is worth between $275 and $315. So I told Terrell, let's split the difference and make it $295. Of course, if the inspection comes in lower, I'm not going to, but I know it's not going to come lower because they're building a train station there to the city, New York City, and Lionsgate Film is building a new studio there. So it's not coming in lower.
Okay.
So what I told him is we'll split the difference, and that means you get $20,000 built in equity off the jump. And he was like, yeah. So it's like such a win-win for everyone. And I'm not going to lie, though. I mean, financially, I've lost out, but not really. Meaning like, I put the money into the house and I'm not getting any of my money back. I mean, I could, I guess, because I don't have to give my half to Alyssa. But to me, it's such a small thing for such a big thing. You know what I mean? And so, like it's such a small thing as far as the financial quote unquote loss to me. Because someone was like, girl, you crazy. Keep that house in 5 years. It's going to be worth double. And I'm like, yeah, so maybe it's worth $500,000, instead of the 250 or whatever. But the truth is I make plenty, and this will allow Jarrell's family to start growing wealth on their own terms. Yeah. And I know he would want that more than anything. And if I never work a day in my life, I'm okay. So more money on top of more money for what sake? To me, the mantra that always rolls in my head is, what is the money for? And it's for things like this, So it just feels like there's like a year later, just like it's such a reflective time of like how far we've all come and where we are now. And I feel like he would be really happy about like how we've come to this place.
Proud,
And
how beautiful that y'all were able to finish it before he passed.
Yes. Well, it was like maybe like a month. We finished maybe like a month after he passed, so he didn't get to see it fully finished, but mostly, And Terrell painted it for us, which was like such a blessing because he's a master painter, and so it just was like it's just a full circle moment. And I was telling my friend Linda, I was like, there are moments that it is the best case scenario within the worst case scenario, And I feel like that's the place I've been living in between, which is like grief and gratefulness. And I used to think you couldn't do both. And it's like, no, I can acknowledge the grief component of it. Sometimes it's overwhelming and crippling. But then right beside it is this overwhelming sense of gratefulness because, like, look at all that's been able to happen. I was just talking to Alyssa yesterday. She was like, hey, Tiff. I'm like, what you want, girl? She was like, when are we going to get back to TikTok? AKA, I need money. And I was like, yeah. Because you know what? I say, you know what? Because Alyssa's been slacking on that TikTok. And I said, you know what? I told George A, that's not an automatic payment. She got to put an invoice for those. And I said I wasn't going to say anything because I wanted her to learn the lesson of like that the well runs dry when you don't do the work. And so she hit me up real quick, was like, so I think we should batch record when you get back. I said, I bet. I said, okay. So I told her, reach out to Rose, my admin, put yourself on my calendar and we will tape. But I told her, Alyssa, I'm not going to chase you down. That like, you have to consistently deliver. And she was like,
let her know that that's breaking your nothing new in October, November rule.
Girl,
she's getting in there.
Yeah, exactly. So she is. But like, but it's just such a blessing that like, I just would have never thought that it could be like this still, which is like me and Alyssa are closer than ever. Me and Terrell are closer than ever. Like everybody wins. Like if I get that place, then Carol and the kids get to stay here. Me and Jarrell had talked about that if we buy another place, Carol and the kids can come here. So it's just the best case scenario within the worst case scenario,
Yeah, it makes me think about that book Sheryl Sandberg wrote after her husband passed, Option B. And like, you can't have option A, and I think the quote is like, kick the shit out of option B. And I feel like you are kicking the shit out of your option. And I mean, in the best way possible.
I'll be trying, girl. Some
you
days
are
like,
incredible. You're incredible, but like, I mean, and it's a journey and it's a process. And it's just, I'm just always so proud of you. I am as heartbroken because I feel the same way. It's such a bittersweet, but like as heartbroken as I am about Jarrell and of course, just, I know that's where you'd rather be with him. Rich Auntie Tiffany face. Like I want the sitcom. I want the TikTok channel. I can't wait to see that. I'm so excited for you. You deserve whatever it is that you want, that luxury. I'm so proud of you for allowing yourself to acknowledge that you want the nice things.
Yeah.
And get it. And hey, if that condo in Newark is what you want, cool. But I mean, I'm all like, if you want that 1.2 milli, condo somewhere else and that's what's going to make you happy. I'm just like, don't let go of that yet either.
Yes. I'm open. I just told myself,
I'm excited for you.
I'm open. And I hope that, BA fam, like listening, that you realize that like, when we talk about personal finance, this is the personal part about the finance, that it's not just numbers on a spreadsheet, that like one of the reasons why Mandi and we do this podcast is because we want you to have the options to be able to choose even when some choices have been taken from you. It's like, how can I do the best possible thing, no matter what's happening in my life. And that's the power of like taking action when it comes to your personal finances, that you get to decide not every aspect of your life, but you get to have a say, you get to have a big voice. And so like, that's why I just share so openly here, because I just know that there's someone who's listening who is feeling like that can't be me. That's not me. And it's like, but it can be. It can. You might not be able to choose A, but like Mandi said, you could kick the shit out of option B.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, BA fam. Squarespace is everything to sell anything. Squarespace has the tools you need to get your business off the ground, including e-commerce templates, inventory management, a simple checkout process, and secure payments. And matter of fact, I use Squarespace for my Molly Moore business. Loves it. So whatever you sell, Squarespace has merchandising features to make your products look their best online.
Yes, I love me some Squarespace. When I was launching the Mandi Moneymakers, it was my one-stop destination for everything I needed to track my visits, unique visitors, page views, and all of it and how it trends over time, even more importantly. With Squarespace, you can gain insight into the top traffic sources, the products, device types, browsers, and operating systems that your visitors are using. Plus, you own all the content you put on Squarespace, and they offer one-click data portability. Head to squarespace.com/brownambition for a free trial. And when you're ready to launch, use offer code brownambition to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. Squarespace.com/brownambition. Offer code brownambition. All right, VA fam. And now it's time to boost a break. So Tiffany can get up out of here and go to Dubai. Let's do this quickly. We got places to be. What you gonna do, Tiff? Booster break, or you want me to go first? You decide.
You go first.
Well, I would love to keep in theme with the talk we just had about your home purchasing journey and all of that, because husband and I have been on our own journey to fight our home appraisal. And like, I know how much we talk about how Black households are undervalued and underappraised and all of that. But in a weird way, I am rooting for my own low appraisal because our property taxes are cray. Like I want to say they're like between 12 and 14,000. I forget. But with the pandemic and with home values just shooting up, our town drastically increased our appraised home value, which drastically increased our taxes to the point where we refinanced our mortgage in 2020. It was the summer of 2020 when rates were really, really low. I think we got our new rate at like 2.8 or something crazy like that. And we immediately saved $300 to $400. And then it was like cute for a few months. And then it was boom, we were back up paying what we were paying before. So I was like, what the heck was the point of that? So anyway, and just for anyone who's out there, if you pay attention to your, you get like what's it called? An assessment from your, I don't know, your town, or New York is kind of weird. You did. Okay. We're in a town and they reassessed our home and it was like $100,000 more. It was something nuts. And we were like it's always in the spring. And then you have until like the summertime, June-ish, at least where we live, to appeal it. And we got our appeal in late. And there's like, because we were just busy and I don't know, we just didn't have our crap together. But there's actually real estate attorneys or real estate agents who do this on the side. So they will help you appeal your assessment and go through that process. Because we put ours in late, which meant we put ours in like August or September. There's like a small court claim kind of situation now. So long story short, we're in this process. I will update you guys, but I think at this point we've paid $500 to get our home reassessed. And the appraisal that we got came in, I want to say like $75,000 under what the town had appraised it at. So but they're fighting us on it. So yeah, so now it's in like a small claims court situation. So I'm taking a break for this whole situation. And it's stressful because, $500 for the appraisal. And then the person who we've hired to represent us, he's going to be charging obviously a percentage of our first year of savings. And don't quote me on this because husband has been dealing with it. And it's to the point where I think I want to get in there because I was trying to delegate. But he was like, yeah, the guy said he's going to charge us 75% of whatever we save in the first year on our taxes. And I was like, 75 seems like a lot. I don't know if he has it all right. I got to figure it out.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's the situation. If you have any advice or you've been through this situation, like, let me know.
Well, I'll say this, that like I can ask. Out. So my, one of my friends who lives not far from me, they refinanced, was like, woohoo, we saved a few hundred $100, and then their house got reassessed and they were like, psych, we're right back where we were plus some. So what they did, and I'll ask her specifically what they did, but they were able to go to the city and they got, so it went from like 9 or something like that to 14,000 annually. And so they were able to go to the city and they were able to get it down to 11. So I will ask specifically, like, what did you say? You know what I mean? Like, what was the process? Obviously, Newark is different, but I don't know what the process was, but I'll ask, like, what was that process like? But I have heard that over and over again, that people have been able to kind of battle back their taxes. So I'll ask and hopefully, it'll be helpful. But yeah, I definitely heard people have had success. So my dad would always say, do they have two heads? Where there's success for one, there's success for others. So, we're speaking life over that. Yes.
Yeah. Well, I'd be curious if they did it themselves or if they hired someone. And if they did hire someone, how did they pay? And how did that all work? Because I feel like we are going to be saving something, but I'm like, man, how much am I paying this person?
Yes.
Exactly.
So you want to, yes. Sometimes it's hard to be like, to not try to be in the mix and let someone else do it. But if that's your strength, sometimes you got to jump in and be like, hey, tag me in.
I know. I'm a control freak, but I just don't like no. And my husband is so, he doesn't push. I'm a pusher. Like, I'm going to ask the same question 11 different ways until I understand everything, which I think is a winning character trait. I think it makes me spectacular at everything. But my husband's like, why are you being so pushy? And like, ugh, anyway, but I'm just going to slide into the email and remove him from the CC line and then he'll never have to know.
Yeah. Because honestly, it's thousands of dollars on the line. So I can see, we're not talking about, the order of cookies from your favorite bakery here.
Thank you.
I mean, sometimes there's times when it's like, I got to get in the ring, It's like, you can't let somebody jump your best friend. You got to jump in.
Right. See, justify me. All right. What about you, Tiff?
I'm going to do a boost that is aligned, but not the same. So I don't know if y'all know that I helped to craft a law called the Budgetnista Law A1414 with Assemblywoman Angela V. McKnight. And then I had the opposite thing happen with my house, that it was underappraised. And as a result, Angela was like, well, we can work on a law to make that illegal. And not only to make it illegal, but to make the education of what to do if that happens legal, like mandatory. And so that's like what, so we were talking about it. And so she drafted the bill based upon our conversation. I was in Dallas speaking for Chase Bank, so I couldn't go. But she said she had to, what did she say? She had to basically go and testify. I guess at the, I don't even know, Trenton, which is like the law house or whatever. So anyway, the bill passed the assembly. I know it passed the assembly committee yesterday. So it's like the first of 3 steps. It has to pass the assembly committee. This is like, I'm just a bill, just a, like that Schoolhouse Rock song. And then I believe next it has to go to the House, New Jersey House, and then it has to go to the Senate. And if it passes there, then it has to be signed by the governor. And if he does sign it, it becomes a law. And if he doesn't sign it, he can actively kind of veto the law by saying no, or he can passively veto the law by just not signing it. But our current governor is Phil Murphy. He's a Democratic governor. She's a Democratic assemblywoman. So we hope that they're all in line. So it's really exciting. And she was like, girl, get ready for your new law name. I'm like, ooh. So actually, BA fam, what should we call it?
What should it be called?
Like the Budgetnista Appraisal Law? Like what we calling it? Something that's going to roll off. So here's the thing.
Stop racist home appraisals.
Right? Technically, it's going to be, like the law names are like A1414. Like if you were to Google A1414, but Angela allows, because she is so nice. And she allows for me to call it whatever, like as far as like media and press and things to bring attention to it. And
it's
so
like
I was like,
plate.
Yeah. And so it's not like, if you go to the courthouse, they're gonna be like, oh, you talking about the Budgetnista Law? They're gonna be like, girl, what is the name? A1414. So, but so yes, I would love some law names. I mean, preferably with the word Budgetnista in it, because if nothing, I'm a marketer.
Yeah, of course, the Budgetnista Appraisal Rescue Plan. Law.
Yeah, or something. And so tweet me at the Budgetnista or at Brown Ambition. Hit me on Insta or hit Brown Ambition on Insta for some law names. But I'm excited because honestly, here's the thing. Because we're claiming it, this goes through. It's not just that it's going to make it illegal to appraise someone's home and to use their race, their sexuality, their gender, whatever, as part of the reason why you appraise. There's no way to really prove that because people will say whatever. But the part that I love, and that's why I said make this part mandatory, is that it will be that your realtor, once you are either selling or I forget what stage in the buying process, will have to give you an information sheet about the appraisal process and what to expect. And if you suspect that your appraisal has been done in a way that, that is reflective of your race, your gender, your sexuality, whatever, here's a remedy and recourse. I thought that was so powerful because now appraisals will know, I see you. I know what I'm supposed to expect. And if you don't do what you're supposed to do, here's who I call to report you. Because there's nothing, it took weeks of research to figure out, what do I do when this happens? And honestly, there was still no clear, this is what you're supposed to do. And now it's no. Here's who you call. Here's how you report that appraiser. Some appraisers were mad. And I'm like, why? A hit dog gonna holler. So come for me if you want, because my block name's strong. Because if you're not appraising someone's property based upon those things, what you worry for? You know what I mean?
It makes their job more stressful and more over. But that's the point of having watchdogs. That's the point of having checks and balances.
Exactly. What you worried for?
Ask for a raise.
Exactly. So I'm just excited about that. That's a big boost.
That's huge. I'm excited too. It's also a good reminder that the midterms elections, y'all, okay?
Child.
These local official positions like Angela McKnight and the people in the House, all these local level, this is who's in charge of our, the legislation that really impacts us at home.
Yes.
So if you are not ready for November, what is it now? 4th? When's election day? Is it November 1st?
Yeah, I think it's the 4th.
I always thought it was the 4th. Is it next week? Anyway, it's coming up. It's the Tuesday in November, right? It's coming up very soon. Get your asses to the polls, okay? And if you can't be in town, absentee ballot. I'm looking at you, Georgia. Listen.
Yes, we all
don't let Stacey walk away a loser again. Listen, I will come for you, Georgia. Make it happen. I'm so stressed. But yes, please vote. That's all.
All right.
And that wasn't
next time,
don't
BA
come for me.
fam. Actually, we'll see you on Friday for BAQA. If you have your questions, you can hit us up. Obviously, you can hit us up on all our socials. But if you want to actually be on the show with us, you can leave an audio note via our Instagram account, Brown Ambition Podcast, and we will pick and choose, and maybe we'll have you on.
Yes. And although Tiffany will be in the Arabian sunset, as she should be, celebrating her birthday and all the things, I will be here next week with a very, very special Halloween episode. We're talking about all the scary financial topics that y'all don't want to talk about. We're making it fun. And I have some very special guests. We're going to have Delianne Barrows from Delianne the Money Coach. And we're going to have Mark Russell, who's my new bestie for Better Wallet. So please join us. And most exciting, it's going to be live on YouTube. So keep your eyes to our email with our newsletter this week. We'll have a link to where you can tune in to watch us live on YouTube. So, we'll get that party started, even though Tiff can't be here.
I love it. Don't ghost. Be here. Get it? Ghost Halloween?
Should I dress up? I think I might actually dress up.
Oh,
I
should.
I think I might have a little fun.
That way you guys can like, then
Right.
you have to join YouTube and watch.
Then you have to see what my costume is going to be, what the makeup situation is going to be like. All right, damn it. Now I've said it. So now I've committed. All right, fine. But Tiff, please
All right,
enjoy your
y'all.
trip. Get packed, okay?
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Y'all. Hey, BA fam. We're on YouTube. Woohoo! Thank you so much for watching. Please like this video and subscribe to the channel.
And while you're at it, why don't you go over to that little bell icon and just tap that for us. Show the BA fam how much you love us. And that way you'll also get notifications when new videos drop. Also, share the channel with a friend. We're always like, tell a friend, tell a friend, tell a friend. And thank y'all so much again for all the support.